met?
Yeah. How did you first meet?
Oh, heavens, let me
I know, it was one of your friends introduced you.
Let me see, I was in Korea, and my friend said his wife was becoming in nurses training, and she had a friend that would like to have a pen pal. And Mary and I started corresponding in 1951, I think.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And so when I got back to the United States in 52, I came up to Boston to visit her, to meet her and so forth. And she was in nurses training. And from coming from overseas, I went to Texas. I was assigned to Carswell Air Force Base in Texas. And over the next couple of years, I came up here 3 or 4 times to be with her, to get to know more about her. And after about the 3rd or 4th time up here, we decided that we will get married. So we made plans after she graduated. That would be the time to get married. And she graduated in 54, was it?
Correct.
1954. So on 20 December 1954, we got married in the, what's the name of the church?
Cathedral of the Holy Cross in Boston.
Cathedral of the Holy Cross in Boston. And from there, we went down by car. And I might mention that on my way from Texas, coming up here to get married, I had a wreck. It wasn't my fault.
Yeah, right. It probably was.
And the front end of my car, one side of it pushed in, and that's what we went on our honeymoon in that car that was
A dented car.
damaged. And when we left Brush Hill Road after our reception at Dick and Kay's house, we left and we went just maybe 15 or 20 miles out on Route 1, someplace around Norwood, around there, and we spent our first evening. And from there, we went down to North Carolina to meet, for her to meet my mother, family, and so forth. And after we left there, we continued on down to Miami, where we had intended on going anyway for our honeymoon. And after we left Miami, where did we go, hon? Where was?
I can't remember, John. I
think did you first live in Greensville?
Greenville, South Carolina.
Greensville.
Okay.
And you worked in the hospital.
Yeah.
Greenville General Hospital,
Yeah.
and you were at Donaldson
Right.
Air Force
Right.
Base.
When I had re-enlisted right before I came up here to marry her and so forth, since I did re-enlist, one of my choices of re-enlisting was to have a base of my assignment where I wanted to go. So I chose to go to Greenville, South Carolina, which was approximately 200 miles from my hometown. And that was close enough so that we could go to Maxton anytime we wanted to, but too far away that they wouldn't come up to see us every weekend. And so we lived in Greenville. Our first son, John Jr., was born in September of 55. September 55.
Yep.
Yeah. A little over 10, 11 months after we were married. And Peggy was born in Greenville, South Carolina, and Michael was born in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yep, and then we had Teresa Ann, I think, out in California.
Yeah. Then we got an assignment to California, was it, hon?
Yeah.
And
Fresno.
Fresno.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
okay.
California.
Yeah, it was California. Yeah, Dad lived out in Hesperia, California for a while, I think.
Yeah.
So where were we assigned to out in California?
Oh, John.
I don't remember.
I don't remember the name of it either.
Yeah.
Well, did I go from there to Keesler, Mississippi?
Well, we better skip a couple of years, I think.
guess.
I don't know. I don't remember anything about Mississippi. Maybe
then
that
we
was
had-
before you were married.
Where we have Teresa?
Teresa you had out in California. She was the only one born in California.
we went out to, I signed out to California to Madera Air Force Station.
Oh,
It was a
A
small Air Force
yeah.
station, approximately 200 or 300 airmen right there. And we lived in base housing, and we were there for 2 or 3 years. And once again, I came up for discharge and re-enlistment, and I chose to go to Otis Air Force Base, Massachusetts. And we were at Otis Air Force Base for, I think, 5 years.
Yep.
About 5 years.
Because we lived in Buzzards Bay.
Yeah, and we lived in Buzzards Bay
Yep.
at 5 Oakley Ave,
Yep.
Buzzards Bay, I remember that.
And then you got stationed overseas.
And then we went to Italy. I got an assignment to Italy,
Brindisi.
Brindisi, Italy. And we found a home over in Laudiano, Italy, that a gentleman owned that we became friends with. And it was just like a castle. It was a huge
Villa.
place, a large villa. And all he wanted us to do was to take care of the place for him while we were there. And we lived there for a couple of years. And then we ended up at
Peas.
Pease Air Force Base, New Hampshire, and in 1969 I retired. So that was the,
But you skipped over the most important part.
what?
My birth.
Yeah,
Well, we did that intentionally.
And your other son Stephen's birth. You've
Well,
got two of us,
Teresa
and Teresa
Ann.
okay.
Ann.
Now, where were you born?
I was born in Boston. So before Italy. Well, I guess
Switch over to
I
Kathy.
guess down in Buzzards Bay.
Okay.
Yeah. So we lived in Buzzards Bay, and Mom had me in Buzzards Bay, and had Stephen in Buzzards Bay.
Stephen
Yep.
was born out at
Otis.
Otis.
Otis Air Force Base, and he was in the same ward. Mary was in the same ward as President Kennedy's wife, who at that time was having
Carolyn?
no, she lost this baby, John, or
Oh.
not John.
What year?
This
So
would
that
be
would have been
about
1963.
64.
So
She lost a baby there.
And it would have been
President Kennedy used to
Patrick?
fly in by helicopter. And,
So nobody got any attention.
So did you
but
get to
her?
meet the president? Did you ever
No,
see him?
no.
No.
Did you ever see
well,
her?
I saw the helicopter come in, but he's surrounded
I
by
never knew that story.
security. You can't get close to him. So that's about how we met. We're still together. I'm still suffering.
Okay, so how long did you two correspond with each other? 1 year, right?
No,
No, longer than
about
that.
3 years.
About 3 years
Yeah.
before you ever actually met her.
Well, no, I had met her several times. You know, I mean, it was about 3 years before we got married.
Yeah,
No, before you actually met her, how long were you pen pals, though?
yeah.
Is what?
Oh, what's she saying? About 2 years?
2 or 3
Yeah,
years.
okay.
about two.
Before you actually, and then
Yeah.
what, you used to tell us the story about giving her $100 bill or something?
See, I don't remember that story.
Yeah.
$100 bill?
Yeah, to take your
He
name or
doesn't
something.
remember.
Or to run the other way or something. I forget what the story was.
Do you remember
That's
that?
probably a big joke.
No, it was a joke, and I can't remember what it was. You used to always say, I don't remember what
Oh,
it was.
well.
Something. My memory's as bad as yours.
Anyhow, I didn't take the $100 bill, obviously. I stuck with them. And here we are, how many years later?
Oh, about 57 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come December 20th.
I
Yeah.
know.
20 December.
Now, what year were you born, Kathy?
62.
62.
Yeah,
And Stephen was born.
in 63.
63.
And then Teresa Ann was born in 60, because she was 2 years older than I was.
Yeah, we had Teresa and we lost her.
She was about 2 years
So,
old.
Yeah,
What was wrong with her?
she was 2 years and 2 months old, I think.
She had a tumor on her brain.
Oh, okay.
so we decided that we would have another girl. We don't have a choice, no, but we said we want a girl.
And we had another
So we
girl.
had another girl.
Not
Yeah,
that
she
she,
is.
not that she would replace Teresa, but
Yep.
she's been a blessing. As you know, you wouldn't be eating today if it wasn't for Kathy.
Me and Gary have no problem eating, do we, Gary?
Yeah, that's
But it's great having you both here, let me tell you.
Thank you. I'm
Nice
just
to
trying
have
to think. Maybe there was 4 of you when I was at Buzzards Bay. Because I remember he was on active duty.
Yeah.
You were doing private duty nursing the graveyard shift.
Yeah, 11 to 7.
And I don't know whether it was you or Uncle John that got a hold of my parents. And I was 14, 15, something like that. And I was born in 49. So it had to be, I think you might have been born.
And Teresa Ann wasn't here when you lived in Buzzards Bay, right? I know she was in
No.
Italy.
No, she
So
wasn't.
where did she did she die in Italy? Or did she die over here?
She died here
You were,
Living at Aunt Kay's.
at Aunt Kay's house.
you were born before Italy, right?
I was born before Italy, yes. I
Right.
was born when they lived in Buzzards Bay.
Right.
Yep.
And what month were you born?
June.
June 21.
Yes. First day of summer.
Same day my mother
Same day as
died,
your
same
mother,
day
yes.
my grandson's birthday.
Yep.
Okay, I can remember that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So I think you were a little baby.
I might have been.
Yeah.
You
'Cause
were
you're-
a long time
The
ago,
oldest
Kathy.
one, John Jr., is the oldest one, right?
Yep.
Right.
And then who's the second oldest boy?
Peggy. Oh,
second
Boy,
one.
Michael.
Michael.
Michael was the one that wouldn't be quiet so you could sleep.
That's
Oh,
Michael.
he's a devil.
Yeah, he was
He was a
a
devil then.
He's a pain then, he's a pain now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Now it's kind of, see, I have a hard time remembering that far back, but now I remember.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Kathy Wright
You know,
used
because
to
you
come
had
down.
to sleep when you came home, and kids are up during the day.
Yeah.
And I tried to keep him at the other end of the house, but he just didn't want to be quiet. And
Yeah.
you had to sleep,
Yep,
and you were just,
a
little.
little tiny thing.
He was really fortunate because he married a very lovely girl. I don't know how he ended up with
Yeah,
her.
Shirley.
Yeah, yeah.
What's
Yeah,
Michael's
he's done.
wife's name?
He's done much better.
Shirley.
Shirley.
Shirley, yeah.
Really? Have we met her? Was she there last year?
I don't think she or Michael came last year. Oh, they were in Texas. They
Who
lived
was
in
it?
Texas.
Who was the one that was
Yeah.
moving last year? Was that Stephen?
I think they were coming home from Texas. They were moving home from Texas last year.
Somebody was moving, was it up to New Hampshire?
That
or-
would be Michael and
That'd
Shirley,
be
yeah.
Michael.
Because they
Michael.
moved out
Oh,
there
from
and then they came
Texas
back,
to New Hampshire.
back to
Okay.
New Hampshire. And then they rented, well, they bought a place and lived there. And now they're renting out that place and bought a home. So they bought a
okay.
townhouse and lived there, but then didn't like it, wanted a regular home. And so they kept it and they're renting
Oh,
it
I
out.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep, they're landlords now,
Oh, that's good.
Yep. so.
She's in the medical field too. She's a lab technologist,
Cool.
right? Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So that's
Very
the
good.
big story, I guess,
That's the
right?
story. We married and had 1,000 children.
Well, you got more than halfway to your goal. You wanted 10, you had 6. So.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I always
You
figure,
wanted 10?
know,
I did